Not horrible. What's going on, everybody? Will Levis really impressed in his rookie debut last Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons. We get to see him again here Thursday Night Football against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're breaking down here his rookie debut. Was a guy I really liked and stood up for in the draft, so it was fun to see him play well. We're going to break down every drop back of his today. I hope you guys enjoy this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Please do hit that like button if you do, and let's get into it. Now, before we do dive into his rookie debut, I did just real quick want to look at my strengths and weaknesses that I came up with when evaluating Will Levis at Kentucky, just to see what shows up, what might we be beginning to confirm from his college profile, where has he been showing improvements, and just get some added context to maybe what I expected to see from Will Levis here in the pros. So I did have him as a true first-round talent. I was really surprised he fell to the second round of the draft. As far as my pro comp on him, I did see a quarterback that could be something very similar to Matthew Stafford, and if some of his weaknesses rose to the forefront, maybe a little bit more Carson Wentz. He was my third-ranked quarterback in this draft, even though I liked all four of these quarterbacks. As far as strengths are concerned, the rocket arm and size plus athletic ability were all pretty self-explanatory. Even the Will Levis haters would have seen that. But for those that followed my pre-draft analysis on Levis, you'll remember I defended a lot of his sort of mechanics and processing and decision-making. As you look in the weaknesses column for a second, you'll see the poor college production was something everybody pointed out on Will Levis. But when I watched the film, I did see a quarterback that when he had protection or when they used play action and receivers were open, he actually attacked and saw the middle of the field really well. I thought he had honestly above average coverage recognition in terms of seeing where safeties were rotating and where the soft spots in zones were. I also thought he paired a good mental baseline for the quarterback position with excellent footwork and eye usage, plus the flick of the wrist, fast throwing motion that many people noticed, all to make him very proficient in the quick game on things like stick and getting that ball out quick, staying ahead of the chains. Another thing I actually liked about Will Levis was, ironically, how bad his offensive line was in college. I think because this wasn't Ohio State or Alabama, he really had to speed up his processor at Kentucky, and I felt like that was going to lead to a nice transition to the NFL, where these guys don't have all day to throw. He had to learn how to handle the rush in a way that none of these top three quarterbacks really did. Likewise, he saw more blitzes than your average rookie, and I thought handled them pretty well. He also used his size and athletic quickness to make blitzers miss within the pocket. So it was a pretty healthy list of strengths that led to me giving Levis a first-round grade. But as far as the weaknesses go, there was really just some severe defining weaknesses that, even if I liked Will Levis, I did have some concerns about. And the biggest of which was his pocket sense. He was always willing to stand tall in the pocket and make a tough throw in the face of pressure, but a lot of times it was to a fault. A lot of times Levis would take bad sacks or not sense pressure, and most importantly, very rarely did you actually see Will Levis use his size and ability to throw on the move to actually extend plays at the appropriate time. More often than not, he wanted to just stand in the pocket and kind of be that catapult from the pocket. He also did straight up have below average accuracy to all three levels. And improving his accuracy was something that I definitely wanted to see from him at the pro level. And then, as we mentioned, his statistical production was quite poor. He was going to have to play quarterback at a higher level in the National Football League than he did in college. Granted, he had a horrible surrounding cast at Kentucky. But let's dive into the tape here from his first start. And this cut up is going to be every single drop back from Will Levis in this game. So we cut out screens and runs. And this first drop back is actually third down on his second possession because they were doing some stuff with Malik Willis early. And we've got a 3rd and 5 here. Falcons showing blitz, trips to the right side. They're just going to read the right side. He doesn't force anything. There's really nothing here. The linebacker is really good coverage on whatever that route is by 18. And then he does a good job to come back to the backside on his second read, gets another hitch in there, steps up in the pocket, probably makes the best throw he can on this play. And it does actually set up here a 4th and 1, which allows the Falcons to run this fake punt here that they convert and keep the drive alive. So I would say there's nothing special here. This is what you would call an expected drop back from a pro passer. It'd be a solid like 0 grade in your PFF type of grading system, but does the job and, again, contributes to moving the chains. Okay, this next drop back's a little bit more interesting. They're going play action, which they ran heavily, which is smart because he was good at play action in college, and that's a big identity for this passing game. I like the decision here. Good clean pocket. Pressure's starting to get in, but that's a clean pocket by NFL standards. Now, the thing is, this throw, there's going to be a coaching point on this. He is going to want to lead this receiver next time. You pause it here or right here when he makes the decision. You want this ball about here, out of range of number 1, but leading the receiver, and he actually throws it about 10 yards deeper than he probably needs to. Kind of invites Richie Grant back into the throw. Now, I'm not sure I would give this really all that negative of a grade. The arm talent on this throw with a hand in his face is pretty damn ridiculous, and I think you're going to live with this pass considering it's the second pass of his rookie career, of his just career straight up. But yeah, I mean, coaching point here, lead the receiver. You don't need to, slam this thing way down the field. But you look at that, Grant has to make a diving pass breakup on the play. It was still an almost catchable pass. So the arm talent on full display. I mean, this just release and the arm talent, the way the ball pops out of his hand, you can see why there's a Matthew Stafford upside with a guy like Will Levis. That ball just keeps on drifting back. Real arm talent on display there from Levis. Our next drop back is going to be 3rd and 8, and this is one of my least favorite Levis plays from the weekend. And something we'll notice here throughout this game is not really recognizing cover 2 here. He's got these 2 safeties dropping back. You're going to have your flat defenders here. And with a guy like Will Levis who has this type of arm, that honey hole shot is something that can be a weapon for him throughout his career. Now, it's his first start. We're not going to panic about this. But as we'll see throughout this video, recognizing cover 2 and attacking that honey hole is something I want to see more from him. The Steelers, who they play on Thursday Night Football, love cover 2 in big passing situations, so it's something to keep an eye on. But I can't say he doesn't recognize cover 2, but he doesn't even look at the honey hole here. And then he comes back to the trip side, and this is a throw right here that is past the sticks on 3rd down. I understand him not wanting to press here early, in his first start. He ends up taking the check down, short of the sticks. To me, the bigger criticism here would be what we talked about earlier, where the lack of willingness to use his feet to extend plays. There's not a great throw for a first down here on 3rd down. I'd love to see him roll out here, see if one of these receivers reacts, finds this soft spot, maybe something opens up over here. That was the biggest frustration for me at Kentucky, and I'm getting a little bit of that here. Now, as we look at the kind of throwing window on the potential second level throw here, this guy right here, his name's Jesse Bates. He's pretty good. Levis just doesn't want to make a mistake. I'm not going to slam him for it, but you probably could have slipped it right in there. That would have been a hell of a play from Jesse Bates, and it might have been a first down. So I don't love this drop back. Some learning moments there, with definitely the play extension knock showing up on this one. And they do end up punting. All right, we got next drive here. Pretty straightforward scheme. 3rd down, easy play action. I like the touch. So many of these quarterbacks want to heat this thing up, jam it in there. Just nice, controlled, soft floater to Derrick Henry, move the chains. Nice kind of expected pass play here from Levis. Okay, next play is the first touchdown from Levis. This is a fun one. Pretty standard shot play. You got your crosser, deep option. It's going to be quarters coverage here. Your 4 defenders. And I will say, I think the read and kind of comfort for this play is totally good from Will Levis. We saw a little pump fake right there. He understands it's quarters. These two guys, if they come here, you've got easy one-on-one here. But then the throw, this is just a lot of trust in your number one wide receiver. And, we see this a lot. We see Tua do this with Tyreek Hill. We see Kirk Cousins do this with Justin Jefferson. We see Hurts do it with A.J. Brown. And now we got Levis doing it with DeAndre Hopkins. This is why you go and get DeAndre Hopkins. This throw is really nothing special. It goes about 50 yards there, so good distance, but nothing that you wouldn't expect from an NFL quarterback. And the placement, it's in play. I'll say that. This one is really just a solid read, but not going to actually grade Levis out too well on this one. This one is just, DeAndre Hopkins makes a play for his young quarterback, which, getting his confidence going is a good thing. Next drive, we got a 2nd and 8, and this is definitely a play that we don't have to spend too much time on. It's a nice little play-action boot, good play design, rolls out, nice throw to Chig. I'm more encouraged by the play calling here, starting to show a little bit more trust in Will Levis to put the ball in the air on 2nd down instead of just mashing the run game like they had kind of been doing on 1st and 2nd down to this point. Thought Tim Kelly coached a pretty good game here against the Falcons, the offensive coordinator. All right, this next play, I'm pretty sure is straight out of his Kentucky tape. Pass rush, blitz gets in, no one's open right away. He hits the top of his drop, and what do you want the guy to do here, right? His progression is working on this side of the field, so he hasn't seen this guy quite yet. He does sense the pressure, decides to take off and run. I'm totally fine with that decision. This is 1st down, no reason to try and play hero ball. That just the play call didn't work. And I'm cool with it. And in fact, if Bud Dupree doesn't make a nice play to kind of stunt inside here at the point he starts scrambling, maybe he breaks an arm tackle and turns that into a good scramble. So I'm fine with the play. Obviously nothing special about it, but avoided a negative play against a good blitz from Atlanta. Very next play, this is going to be the 2nd time this game where he doesn't see the honey hole shot. This a little bit of a different route combination, but it is a good cover 2 beating play. This wide receiver is going to sit down. They're going to get the corner route, and the Falcons are going to drop into cover 2 here. So this is going to be the most vulnerable spot in a cover 2 defense. And again, when Will Levis has a rocket launcher attached to his right shoulder, this is a throw I want him hitting in the NFL. So let's see what he does here. The safety does rotate a little bit late, so, rotating safety is something rookie's going to have to deal with. But beyond not hitting the honey hole, stays ahead of the chains a little bit here, not trying to, force a mistake, takes the underneath throw. Good play by A.J. Terrell to break on that thing, get the pass breakup. It's not a bad play from Will Levis. It would have been, a high-end read and an elite throw to really lead this thing towards the sideline. But that's where you're hoping he someday goes. Just a note, we want to see him attack those honey holes against cover 2. So we do end up with a 2nd and 4. Not long after that, we go play action. And really nowhere to go with the football here. Pass rush is breathing down his neck. And he's going to just kind of put this up for DeAndre Hopkins. The 2nd time this game, he said, hey, Nuke, help me out. Not a horrible strategy for the young quarterback. And, ball placement I think was fine. Nuke's trying to get across the receiver, and they end up getting the flag to move the chains. So I'm fine with this play. Obviously nothing truly special from Will Levis here. But again, a pretty good decision off of play action. Not a whole lot else you would really ask him to do here. Okay, this one I would love to get the coach's verdict on. You got 3rd and 4, and he reads it out as single high coverage and decides to test the deep ball. This is a really aggressive decision. Now, you can certainly argue you're reading the trip side as your first read. You got the numbers, throw the 1st down. But you know what, man? This is a pretty good ball. They don't connect on it. I actually kind of like the aggressiveness. Maybe you guys disagree, but I mean, Burks and Will Levis, who are going to be together for a long time, you think, are going to connect on a lot of these balls if Will Levis is putting that kind of trust in him. when he throws this football, we can go back. When he lets go of that football, Burks does not have a step on Jeff Okudah yet, but this is him saying, hey, I see single high. I like the matchup. I love my arm. And I trust my deep accuracy, which, man, that's very, very close. So, yeah, he could have moved the chains by taking the underneath thing, but you didn't draft Will Levis to not try and connect and unlock Treylon Burks. So, honestly, that play gets me more excited than it does me wanting to criticize him not taking the underneath stuff. So then the Titans defense forces a fumble. An underrated aspect of drafting a young quarterback is having a great defense like the Titans have. We don't talk about that enough as a way to help your young quarterback. He takes a chance. It doesn't work out on a good look, but you end up getting the ball right back on a strip sack fumble. Right back in scoring position. But anyway, this next play is pretty solid from Will Levis. This would be like a plus 0.05, I would say. Nice rhythm play. Good protection. You got Hopkins on a drag. Just reading out the levels concepts. Everybody's running to the same side of the field here. I do say I like the pump fake here. To me, it just shows that Levis has a firm understanding of how the routes are playing out, where he can use little subtleties to create extra separation. I don't know that it necessarily does that much to the linebacker, but he is trying to clear out that space. Good thought process, and then DeAndre Hopkins does the rest. The throw is a bit behind DeAndre Hopkins here. This would be one of those the knocks on him being accuracy issues consistently showing up. There are receivers in the NFL that will drop this. That is excellent body control, hands, concentration from one of the best wide receivers of the decade that's going to make that play for you. So just a note there that the throw could have been, ahead of the wide receiver, but still like the read and decision. Next drive, you're not going to get much more open than this play off of play action. Number 55, I think that's Landman, just completely, takes the cheese. And that's, the threat of the run game, good play action, helping out your quarterback. Not going to get much easier than this from Levis. They do drop the pass. Chig Okonkwo, come on, Chig. We need you. The draft community needs you to be good. We need you to catch that. But, it's a good throw from Levis. Under control, calm, in the face of pressure. The pass rusher is getting in. He takes a hit. Throw is, I would say, an accurate pass. He's just getting it out there. There's so much space. He doesn't need to overthink it. Chig's got to catch that. That was definitely a pretty big chunk of stats left on the table there for Levis. All right, this play is interesting. He does something that we see a couple more times in this game, avoiding a negative play. What do we talk about with Sam Howell right now, right? He's taking 1 million sacks. When it's not there, he's trying to do too much. Here you got 1st and 15 because they had a penalty on the first down, and there's just nothing here, right? You pause it at the top of his drop. This receiver hasn't begun his break yet. He's running a go ball, actually. It looks like a dagger concept. Good coverage. No, it's not a dagger. He runs to the corner. But either way, there's just nothing here. But what do we talk about with his experience kind of dealing with this, where the pressure's getting in, the receivers aren't open? He knows what to do here. And I like where he puts this football. This is something Tom Brady used to do all the time, where instead of taking a sack, he's able to get the ball and put it somewhere where it's not grounding. And it was such an underrated aspect of Tom Brady's career. And I'm definitely not saying Will Levis is going to be Tom Brady, but he does this a couple times in this game. And if he's not going to scramble and get out of pressure, this is a way, as we saw with Tom Brady, to avoid sacks and not kill drives, as sacks tend to be. So I love that. Then we got a pretty basic 2nd and 15 call, quick game. As we mentioned, one of his strengths was quick game. This is stick here. And just, executes. Nothing special here from Levis, but trying to make it 3rd and manageable. Nice execution from Levis on the play call. Now, on the ensuing 3rd and 8, we're going to get a look at what he does against the blitz. And I don't know, you tell me, it's not a great decision. It is pretty amazing that he makes the worst read, but he makes the best throw he kind of can. He's trying to throw it away from that safety. But obviously, just not finding the open guy against the blitz. I feel like he has good leverage here with these two, intermediate routes. He's got outside leverage from this corner. The second these linebackers blitz, I would say your eyes should go right there to 18. So it's just not a good decision against the blitz. I don't think you can really slice it any other way. Rookie quarterbacks tend to struggle against the blitz. Next drive, it's going to be another play action boot, schemed up play. I'm okay with his decision to tuck this and run. A little bit less space than some of these floating routes we've seen. Probably still could have thrown it, but he's already, in a full sprint. Ends up getting about as many yards as he would have anyway. And I'm cool with it. I think he showed some nice acceleration on the play. First down, sets up 2nd and 5. Now we got another one of these plays where he chucks it into the dirt. Blitz comes through, screen's not ready, Derrick Henry's not looking, nowhere to go with the football, 1st and 10. Instead of taking a sack and turning this into 2nd and 20, the awareness to chuck it just as good old TB12 would have, almost the same exact kind of mannerisms, I feel like, in how he does it there. So I like his awareness in these situations so far. And I think part of that stems from dealing with the mess that was the Kentucky offense last year. Anyone that studied Levis at Kentucky witnessed a absurd amount of plays like this. Okay, this play is going to be the 3rd time that Will Levis doesn't look at the hole shot against cover 2. And this one I feel like might have been the one to pull the trigger on. He's at the top of his drop. He is reading the right side of the field. You'll see the safeties pretty clearly rotate into a cover 2. I mean, you're not going to get much of a clearer picture than this. They started deep, they stayed deep, flat coverage from the corners. You can even get the kind of clear mid-read assignment from the middle linebacker. This cover 2 beater, man, I need to see Will Levis pull the trigger here, man. I am confident that they will coach this into him, say, hey, it's not that hard to recognize cover 2. You see these safeties bailing back. I want you to consistently think about this part of the field. Will Levis can hit that throw. I know he can. There is a lot of space. And even if that is Jesse Bates, I want to see it, man. So keep an eye on it, even as early as this Thursday against the Steelers. As far as what he does the rest of the play, if you're not going to hit that, I think on 2nd down, you got a crosser, he's got a step. It's a fine play. It's just there could have been a lot more. I'm not crazy about that drop back. So then we end up with 4th down. They're just trying to run a pick route here against man coverage, and they're going to have DeAndre Hopkins kind of try to run into any defenders crossing with the running back running into the flat, and Levis reads it out, makes the throw. They end up moving the sticks, but when you call a play like this, you are running the risk of, well, that guy's not throwing a flag anytime soon, but they do end up getting them for offensive pass interference. Now, some people are going to watch this and say, well, you can't throw that. Look how open this guy is. I see that all the time where people, pause and say, you got a wide open wide receiver. They end up not moving the sticks. Well, no, this is the scheme. This is how they draw it up. They say, hey, you're throwing this to the flat as soon as you see these linebackers cover, and it's DeAndre Hopkins' job to get in their way. This is the right read and decision from Will Levis, understanding the play call and executing. It's not on him that they decided to skirt the line of what's legal and not in offensive football. It's a risk you run when you want to run pick plays, Mike Vrabel. This playing to his strengths. Love the route from DeAndre Hopkins. Double move here. Atlanta had been sitting in cover 2 all day, and Tim Kelly says, all right, fine, Levis, if you're not going to look at the whole shot, let's just drawing it up for you here real quick. There's your cover 2. Let's put a double move on this high defender and run right past him. If you're not going to look in the whole shot, let's just burn him deep. And Richie Grant has not had a great season. That is bad. Love the little stutter from DeAndre Hopkins, and then the throw on the money. Perfect from Levis. Good, understanding of the play call. He even does another one of these pump fakes. Pump fakes to me do show like you're in command of the play. You understand what you're supposed to be doing, where defenders are coming from. It's a really encouraging thing, but this is just all around beautiful from the Tennessee Titans. I mean, when was the last time we saw offensive brilliance like that from all 3 fronts? Quarterback, wide receiver, and play caller. Then we've got some more good quarterbacking, good production wiped off the board. Someone lined up in the wrong spot, but another good play action. I think Levis has very much shown that he can read play action very efficiently, very quickly. He's even under pressure here, but you can see the quick release. It's not that it was a difficult read, but he is in control on these play action dropbacks, no doubt about it. And that throw, I mean, the zip, boom, on the money, sets him up for easy rack. It's this man's got tools, man. Not so much setting up well in the next play, just, kind of one of these not much the quarterback can do here types of plays. He does get the ball out. He puts it out there on third down. Again, doesn't take a sack. For those saying Will Levis took too many sacks at Kentucky, there's a lot of this at Kentucky too, where he's doing everything he can. When the offensive line gets beat by a stunt, the wide receivers aren't open yet. What do you want him to do here? Double coverage, not open. I mean, you could throw this away with leverage, whatever. That's not something you're realistically criticizing the quarterback on. He is trying to put this out on the comebacker one-on-one, takes a hit while he throws it, ball sails out of bounds. That one's not on Levis. The offense has to be better on that one. Then we got another play here that's similar to that second DeAndre Hopkins touchdown in a way, in that it's a good read. Kind of a similar concept, too, with a bunch of crossing routes. And a good read moves the sticks. A good catch from Chigo Okonkwo this time. He helps Levis this time, but a bad throw. Good read, bad throw. We did say that a frustrating number of times at Kentucky. And this is, again, a catch where the receiver trying to basically dive backwards isn't always going to make that catch. So good read, bad throw. Probably grading that out as a neutral, honestly. Then we have, for the third time this game, he does the Tom Brady thing where he's trying to, not take a sack, throw the ball into the dirt, and, not take a negative play. But, huge but on this one. If he's going to do this, which we talked about all the positive reasons for him doing this earlier, if this is going to be a big part of his game, you got to be a little bit more careful than that. He's shuffling the ball from his left side to his right side, throwing it late. Could have been picked. Very easily could have been picked. It would have been an incredible play because this dude's getting blocked when he throws the football, but you got to put it behind the guy. You can't put it there. Self-explanatory. Really the one kind of turnover-worthy play from Will Levis today. And even that, it's like, I like the process of what you're doing. There's nothing open. You're trying to avoid a negative play, but just put it somewhere else, please. Then they end up getting a nice run from Tyjae Spears, and this next one, not much to really say. It's a first down, play action, and he ends up just taking the check down. They're trying to preserve a lead, get on with this game. We're pretty late in the game at this point, so good quarterbacking, but nothing special. But don't go anywhere yet, because this is across his body, falling back. I'm just gonna shut up and let this play. You don't need a YouTube draft analyst to tell you that that's a special freaking throw. Straight up. Unreal. And then we got our last play here. They're kind of in control here in chew clock mode, and they run a little play action. They're trying to get the fake. Atlanta doesn't fall for it. Hey, I love the mechanics here. Feels pretty clean. Love the play fake. He hides the ball, but 17's having none of it. And again, this time it's good situational awareness actually for Levis to just take the sack. You always have to consider game situation here. I love that he's been throwing the ball away in certain situations when they're trying to drive the ball, but this is third down. They have the lead. They want the clock to run. So Levis, smart game awareness, in control. Says, that's all right. The yardage doesn't really matter. The clock is way more important. I'm just going to go down, two hands on the football. That's doesn't look like a rookie quarterback. Like, everything about that play was just a veteran play. So this really is a hell of a start for Will Levis. There was one minor mistake in there, a couple of minor missed throws, but the traits on full display with some of these throws that he made. But I think the control of the offense, showing the awareness and pretty good ability to see the field. Granted, a lot of it was off of play action, but that's what they're going to do for him here in Tennessee. And the rest of the processing, things like attacking hole shots against cover 2, as you would say with any rookie, are things you want to see coming along here. But those are very coachable things, especially when you have this baseline of things to work with, when he's running the system as well as he's showing and adding some plays on top of it. This is about as good of a start as you possibly could have asked for Will Levis, even from myself, who was a Will Levis believer. We'll see what he looks like on Thursday night against the Steelers. It's going to be a different kind of challenge. But obviously, all of the talk about, oh, he couldn't beat out Malik Willis, he must suck, he fell into the second round. This guy should have gone in the first round. I feel very confident saying that. I felt confident about it on draft day, and I feel even more confident about it now. I thought the Titans got a steal to move up for the guy, and I can't wait to see where his season goes and the rest of his career goes. And Ryan Tannehill, it's been fun, because I don't think we see him the rest of the year unless Levis pulls a complete U-turn and sucks against the Steelers. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's film breakdown. Please do hit that like button if you did. Make sure you're subscribed. I am going to be dropping my refreshed quarterback tier rankings here as we approach the midpoint of the season. So that'll be out this weekend. It's going to be fun. But until then, thank you for watching. We'll see you later. Peace out.